I was a very sheltered child. My parents didn't like to tell me what was going on, and I was an only child. I had no siblings to tell me about the horrors going on. I finally figured out something was wrong when I was 7 years old. My father, he was a printer, and he had gotten fired from his job just a week after being recognized as one of the best printers in the area. He tells my mother and I, let's move somewhere where nobody knows our names. Let's go to a new neighborhood. We went from Romania to Budapest. Not long after arriving in Budapest, my father gets put into a labor camp, leaving my mother and I to fend for ourselves. We went from safe house to safe house until we finally found an apartment of a friend to stay in for a while. One night, my mother rushes me to the side. She says, "Eva, I need you to hide. I need you to be completely quiet and completely still." And she puts me in a basket. As a 7-year-old, I was pretty frail, so I could fit easily. She put me in the basket and put the top on and put me in an armoire. I waited. I waited for hours and hours. I had no idea where my mother was. I was so still that I even wet myself because I did not want to move. I knew if I did, it would be a problem. I could hear rustling around me, but I stayed quiet. After hours, my mother comes back. She lifts the top off the basket, and I can finally see her again. "Mama, I was so scared. Where were you?" And she had told me that she was holding on in an elevator shaft. She picked me up out of the basket, got me cleaned up, and got me in my finest clothes. And then, after curfew, we hit the streets. As we were walking down, she told me she had a surprise for me. "Eva, I have an amazing surprise for you." I didn't know what this could be. She said, "We're going to give you a new last name, Nagy, which is, in Hungarian, means big. You're going to need to be big and strong for the days ahead. And we're going to enroll you into school." I was so excited to be in school. I wanted to be in school so bad. The next morning, we were walking to the schoolmaster's office, my mother in her high heels, when we get stopped by two officers. They said our names, our real names, our Jewish names, and they arrest us. Before I knew it, I was in a wagon, rolling down the countryside. I had no idea where we were going, and I knew I was cold. My clothes weren't thick enough. My mother was trailing behind us. And this went on for days. My mother asks a guard, "Sir, please, can I please ride in the wagon with my daughter? My heels, they're killing me. My feet are bleeding." And I watched him as he pushed my mother to the ground. The wagon kept going. I didn't know what to do at that point. Should I get off? Should I just stay on? It was going so fast, and I lost sight of my mother. And then I heard a ring of gunshots. Finally, we arrived to Ravensbrück concentration camp. And they ordered us to take off all of our clothes, and it was just a chaotic scene. In a last-moment effort, I decided to put the ring that I got for my 7th birthday under my tongue so I could keep it safe. From Ravensbrück, I got transported to Bergen-Belsen. And Bergen-Belsen was much darker of a place, more desolate. And when we arrived in our cattle car, there were mountains of bodies everywhere. Along with this being a darker place, there was also a lack of food. I was starving. And one day we were by the kitchen, and I see a pile of potato peels behind a gate. They were meant for the pigs, but I was hungry, and someone pointed out to me a hole in the fence. Ava, you can get under there, and you can get us the potato peels. I was scared to do this, but I was also hungry. I crawled under and grabbed as many potato peels as I could. And I got pulled back through, and before I could even think, they were all taken from my hands. I had no potato peels. This happened again. I got back under there, grabbed as many as I could, got pulled back through, and they all took them from me again. It wasn't until the third time that I really realized that I needed to eat as many before they pulled me back through. That was the only way I could depend on myself in that time. So I got back under, and I put as many as I could into my mouth. Another day in Bergen-Belsen. I was exhausted in many ways. There were bugs everywhere, and the bugs would eat away at my face, my neck, my hands, my feet, anywhere they could. And I had had enough. So I decided to sneak out of our barrack just to get a brief moment of the sunlight hitting my face. As I stood there, with a brief moment of reprieve, I saw a silhouette walking up to me. I could tell he was a soldier, not a German one. And in a state of shock, he picked me up. And as he did this, I could see tears streaming down his face. And I knew this was a soldier. What's he crying about? But I knew that I was safe in his arms. He went into his pocket and pulled out a chocolate bar, and I ate the entire thing. This was the liberation of Bergen-Belsen by the British. After my liberation, I didn't want to go back to Budapest. I thought that both of my parents were dead, so there wasn't any use. I decided to go to Sweden. I was in an orphanage, and my orphanage mother, her name was Luba, and she was one of the most impactful women I have ever met. One day in the orphanage, I was washing my hands. My ring from my 7th birthday that I kept all throughout the Holocaust was on my pinky finger. And as I was washing my hands, it slipped off into the sink. I was gutted. I felt like I had left and lost everything. I lost the memory of my parents, of everything I went through. But then Luba comforted me, and she told me that these memories aren't in the material things. They're in our hearts and in our souls. And unlike the ring, these memories will never be lost.
I'm lost for words. You really captured. And I'm so honored that you will carry on. And not only honored, grateful, because I want to make sure the memories of our loved ones is not forgotten. Yes. And you really did an amazing, amazing memory of what I went through.
Thank you.
And I thank you so much. Love you.
Eva, we promise to keep your memories and tell your story forever.
And each one is so, so meaningful. And I thank you.
Thank you. We'll walk you back.